The opinions expressed in the following programs are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers nor Rogers TV.
Welcome to Modern Business, the show that bridges the gap between viewer and entrepreneur. I'm your host, Taylor Bursey, and today we are joined by Michael Carey, better known as Captain Carey of Train Like Heroes. Welcome to the show, Mike.
Hey, thanks, Taylor. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
I'm very excited to have you here.
Oh, born excited.
Oh, good. Tell us, what is Train Like Heroes?
Oh, where do I start? Well, Train Like Heroes is a obstacle course fitness facility, 100% superhero themed. As much as I love sports, big giant sports guy, I'm a gigantic nerd. And I want to find a way to kind of merge the two together because I'm sure there's a lot of people like me that really want to enjoy fitness or maybe not know how to start.
Right. So is it commercial superhero themed or is it being your own superhero?
That's a great question. Well, the really cool thing is yeah, it's bringing the hero within. So the very first question I ask my clients is, what's your superpower? And they look at me confused going, superpower? No one's asking what my superpower is. And this is great because I get to break people down. Maybe you're a fish and you want to be put in water, or maybe you're a monkey and you want to be put in a tree, but you may not know that you're a monkey. You may not know you're a fish. So what I do is I kind of walk around the facility and kind of show them things. Maybe you're into obstacle course training, like, Spartan races or Tough Mudders. Maybe you're interested in more of like group classes like boot camps or other fitness related classes. Or, maybe you just kind of want to go to the gym and do your own thing. Well, there's like open gym for that. So it's really cool to kind of guide them on this path of fitness right when the very get-go, when they enter the gym.
So the facility is broken in different styles for whatever your inner superpower is. If
Absolutely.
You're a fish, there's a water section. If you're a monkey, there's a tree section. So when they sign up to be a part of your gym, is it included in their membership that they have a one-on-one with you to find out what their superpower is?
Yeah, so absolutely. So there's consultations with respective trainers, and that's the best part. Is you get to sit them down and kind of go over things. We do weights, we do measurements, we do skin folds, we do the whole kit and caboodle while you get in there, just to start as an introduction. And then it's kind of like, okay, well, let's figure out what it is that you like. So that's why we offer certain trials for people to kind of try everything out, because you never know. That might be the one thing you love the most, is something you weren't expecting.
Right. And the fitness industry is something that people from the outside looking in would say, oh, having a gym and being a trainer is something that's very oversaturated, and they might try to steer others away from it. What made you want to embark on this endeavor and start your own gym and build this community?
Absolutely. I absolutely just love helping people. I love just, playing sports and just helping people, assist them on whatever they're doing, or even just the average Joe who maybe might not know what to do. I think one of the coolest things is being able to break them down and build them up, build that confidence. And that's why it's nice to be called a hero, is that, maybe you're not the most confident person. Maybe the gym scares you. That word maybe just scares you. But the really cool thing is just seeing these unique people walking through the front door on their first day, and then seeing them on their second, third, fourth week in, and all of a sudden the persona changed. That confidence level rises. I'm a hero.
Oh, I love that. So when you started your gym, did you go to business school and figure out how to start your gym? Did you become a certified personal trainer through CamFit Pro? How did you make this happen for yourself?
Well, actually, really cool. I actually went to school for it. I have my certification is called my Canadian Society of Exercise Physiology.
Okay.
Certified personal trainer. We'll just call it CSEP, CPT for short. So I was actually able to go to school there, and once I graduated, I was eligible to write my certification. I needed an 88% on the written just to be eligible to do the 4-hour practical.
Wow.
And I had to do heart rate, blood pressure, skin fold measurements, counseling techniques, personal training, and fitness assessment. I had to get 100% on that in order to earn the certification. So pretty prestigious to be able to get it.
Wow, that is incredible. So it's a little bit of an elevated degree from just a general personal training
actually,
certificate?
I did get my CamFit Pro during school because I wanted something while I was doing it. So I did manage to get multiple things. It's almost like collecting hockey cards. I wanted different certifications from here and there, and I wanted to collect them all. It's really cool.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
And then you open your gym. How did you figure out the logistics of getting the space, creating memberships, marketing, building it out?
Wow.
How did that work?
Well, let's just say a lot of trial and error. Train Like Heroes opened up in 2016.
Okay.
All right, so 6 years ago. I was 26 years old at the time. And you think of yourself, 26 years old as a business owner opening a gym. This is a big feat. You know, there's a lot of people in the industry who has 10, 15 years under their belts, and here I am, 26 years old, going, hey, I want this 5,000 square foot facility. It's going to be awesome. Where do I start? So yes, it was definitely a lot of trial and error, and I loved every minute of the processes.
And do you have a mentor at all, or somebody you leaned on to figure out how to start this all?
Sure, there was definitely people I reached out to, especially in the industry, someone who who has a little bit more experience in that, that kind of guided me. But for the most part, I will say it was definitely a solo venture through the entire structure of these 6 years.
So you build the gym, you figure it out. Eventually, you grow in popularity to the scale that you have a significant amount of members. You need more trainers, you need front desk staff. What was that transition like, hiring people and having a team work for you, for your brand?
Sure, yeah. One of the greatest things is that I used to be a motivational speaker. I used to stand in front of various crowds and speak on mental health and speak on behalf of those that don't have a voice. So one of the greatest things I did was actually go back to my grassroots, because I went to school for it, and I actually was able to get placement students to accumulate 88 hours of training in order to be eligible to graduate. Okay. So I thought it was a really great way to kind of introduce these guys into the industry, show them things they wouldn't normally learn at big box gyms like the Good Lives or the Lifetimes, where you're only restricted to folding towels and being very limited of what you're able to do. Whereas I took these placement students to go, okay, what do you like to do best? Awesome. By the end of your placement, you're going to be running your own class specifically to what it is that you want to do, right? Once again, everyone has a superpower, right? So all of my trainers got these really unique nicknames. So, we've had things like Supersonic, he's a super fast soccer player.
Okay.
We have things like I said, I'm Captain Carey. Think of me as Professor Xavier. Welcome to my school of mutants kind of thing. So it was really cool to give these placement students a home and then employment after.
Sure. So it's a nice transition for you as well. It helps your bottom line. You're paying them with education and experience that they normally wouldn't get. And then at the end of it, as a nice little cherry on top,
absolutely,
they're offered employment.
Totally.
How many of those students stayed? All of them?
Yeah, well, the really cool thing is I had the pleasure of having, at least a couple from different schools at the time, and it was really unique where I'd say at least one after the entire semester was done was hired. So I had the pleasure of taking about 25 placement students within 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It sure is.
And how was it on you trying to navigate a business, being a young business owner, setting everything up on top of taking on students and teaching them?
I loved every minute of it because it helps to have help. And it was really unique being able to teach and instruct. You're learning yourself too. So it was great to create all these little processes and little structures for the team to learn. But at the same time, I'm using it as a study guide myself to kind of make sure that I'm doing the right thing and getting all my trial and error done with them so they can make all their mistakes with me and I can make all their mistakes with them.
Cool. So you've set up the gym, you've figured out the staffing. How are you getting members through the door? How are you marketing? Great,
yeah. So one of the greatest things that we had was the 6-week trial. This allowed you to kind of dabble in everything that we had to offer. Right? The really cool thing about Train Like Heroes is it was so unique in the sense that we had so many things that were offered that aren't generally offered everywhere else, right?
Right.
As soon as someone comes in and goes, hey, I like obstacle course racing, I'm like, ooh, well, we have this giant obstacle course. I'm a big fan of Tough Mudders and Spartan races. Cool, why don't we create this program where we can teach you guys how to hang on to a monkey bar longer or things like that. And then the next person would come and go, hey, I like to lift heavy weights. Well, cool, we have this weight training class where we can teach you how to lift those heavy weights, but with proper technique. And so on and so forth. I'm a big fan of calisthenics. And a lot of people are like, what is that? Well, it's body weight training, and you're able to use, pull-up bar and your body to a level that you've never seen it before. And I was able to create even a structured, like, hey, here's a piece of paper, and I want you to follow these steps, this and that. And it was like almost like a video game where you're going through the processes here. But like I said, the list goes on with what we're able to offer.
That's incredible. So you have, a website, people are coming through your door. Do you manage that side of the business? It seems like you're very involved and active in the actual physical part. Yeah. How do you manage your day-to-day operations?
Being a business owner, you basically miss the opportunity to be successful if you sleep. So I was doing absolutely everything. I was doing the marketing, I was doing the promotions, I was doing the training, I was literally on the floor running the classes. I was literally doing everything. But then again, hey, what's the benefit of being a little bit younger in the industry is you have a little bit more energy, a little bit more time, and I use that to my advantage.
Do you ever suffer from burnout or taking on a little bit too much?
Sure. I mean, I think everyone suffers a little bit from burnout, right? But it's all about managing what it is that you do best and then trying to find solutions to things that may not be the best or the fastest for you to work with, is able to give it to someone else who may like that or may specialize in that.
Yes, definitely. Now, the last couple of years have been tough.
They sure have.
Especially for the fitness industry.
We got hit pretty hard, didn't we?
You definitely did.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit how you navigated COVID.
Wow. Okay, so where do we begin? This is a big topic right here. So yeah, sadly, when we heard the announcement was coming on, as a business owner, you had to make a decision, and one of the decisions was being safe. So before the announcement, we're all gyms, because it was basically gyms got closed down first. We made the decision to close down just to make sure that, hey, we're going to close down, and we're hoping that other gyms realize that this is a bigger deal than what it is, not a couple weeks.
Sure.
So we managed to close it down. Now, we did think it was going to be a couple weeks, no problem, we'll be back up and running this and that, but that turns into a month, another month, a year. All of a sudden, we're at 2 years, and we're almost just going back. I think we had 3 or 4 forced closures for the gym, and that was crazy because never in this fitness industry have we ever had to recreate the wheel.
Right.
And I think that's something that was great, but also not so great. I think it was great that it was very innovative. It was a time for innovation to be created, almost like the war, right? A lot of things were created because of the war. Well, a lot of things were created because of this pandemic for us in the fitness industry, like Zoom classes. I'm sure you've heard of it.
Right.
All right. I mean, I'm sure you may even have jumped into at least 1 or 2. Another thing was, a lot of the online training, which was, a smaller portion, kind of expanded and, became a big integral part of the fitness industry. So, it was a lot of recreating the wheel, and I wanted to create something that was so fantastic with Train Like Heroes, but I wanted to bring it to your home. So I took all the classes that we had to offer at Train Like Heroes, and I turned them into Zoom classes.
Wow.
Yep. Get a little square space in your house. It's all you needed. You don't have dumbbells? No problem, because they were scarce at the time. Soup cans.
Okay.
Maybe a backpack full of books. You're good to go.
So you had certain classes for fish and certain classes for monkeys
You
and all
nailed it.
that?
Absolutely. So I had all the animals playing.
So you're still able to keep the unique programming that Train Like Heroes offered, but you were just doing it digitally.
Absolutely. And then another thing that we offer at Train Like Heroes every single month is really cool challenges.
Cool.
Attendance challenges or nutrition challenges. So, one of the times during the pandemic, we had people write their name on a piece of paper and take a picture of their food plate. Right? That way they're not stealing it from Pinterest or anything like that.
Yes.
But they're able to kind of do this, and then other people are sharing recipes. And even though we're not going to the gym, we had this amazing private Facebook group where, it was just flooding with comments. So you could really feel the community at a time where, community wasn't necessarily there.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
And when we come back, we'll dive into more with Captain Carey. Stay tuned.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Think it's too late to become more fit? Think again. I'm personal trainer Karen Ross, specializing in 55 plus fitness. My mission is to help you find your way back to health and wellness. I'll give you the knowledge and the power to take control of your own fitness path. Everyone deserves quality of life for their entire life. Tune into A Little Bit Fit with me, Karen Ross, here on Rogers TV.
Welcome. Join me on the Rogers TV Durham for learning yoga in just 10 classes. My name is Sri. I'm a yoga teacher at Yoga Point, and it's my privilege to spend the next few weeks with you.
Knights of Columbus TV Bingo every Tuesday at 7 p.m. right here on Rogers TV with a guaranteed $5,000 grand prize jackpot on the full card winner. Every week, 7 p.m. Tuesdays, right here on Rogers TV.
Did you have fun? Check this out. It's nice, right?
You're watching Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Modern Business, the show that bridges the gap between viewer and entrepreneur. I'm your host, Taylor Bursey, and we are here with Michael Carey, Captain Carey of Train Like Heroes.
Thank you, thank you.
Happy to have you here. So before we went on break, you were talking about COVID and the impact of COVID. Now, just knowing a little bit about your business, you survived the pandemic. You kept your facility. You made all your payments on time for your facility. You pivoted your business online. And then when the world reopened, what happened to Train Like Heroes?
Yeah, so once again, you know, you have this landlord that you sign a deal with for, 3 years at a time. So, 3 years happens, great. And then I sign another 3 years, then all of a sudden the pandemic happens. And yeah, it's like, okay, well, I have to make sure the number one thing is make sure I get my payments on time. Now, the downfall is I wasn't able to use the facility during that time. Now, I was able to go in myself because, as the business owner, you kind of hope you can use it yourself. So I was able to use that as a hub for the videos, for the Zoom, things like that. So I was still able to pump out content for, Instagram and YouTube, things like that. I was still able to do the Zoom and whatnot. But the sad part is that, the government wouldn't allow us to bring clients in. And that was a downfall. It was a really, really tough time. But yes, when the world opened up, we were actually able to have a limited number of people outside.
Okay.
So here we are in a soccer field, and I'm putting pylons to make sure everyone's having proper social distancing. I'm following every single rule to the T to make sure, we had to do a sign up because I wasn't allowed over 10 plus. So I'm following every check mark, making sure, okay, all my ducks are in a row, everything's good. Because last thing you need when you're a struggling business owner during a pandemic is to get this massive $30,000 fine.
Of course.
That's scary. That's detrimental. That could be it for the business, right? So following everything to T was very, very key. But yeah, so once we were able to do that, it looks like things were able to, break down, and we were able to come back into the gym. So then it's like, okay, well, we're in the gym, but we still have to do all these little things. We have to have proper social distancing, signing in at the front. So we still have to create the wheel again, right?
Right.
And so I was able to make these little, we call them pods. And they're like little parking spaces that people could sign up for. That way we can make sure that the numbers were at a certain number that we were allowed to have. And at the same time, people were able to come into the gym. And maybe some people were very, very cautious. Other people, I don't care. I'm happy. This is my happy place. I can do what I want. So I want to make sure that everyone was happy and everyone was safe in the environment.
I love that. So you're back in the gym. Everyone's happy. Everyone's safe. You've kind of been talking about Train Like Heroes in the past tense. So what happened to your beautiful facility?
I thought you'd never ask. So once again, another foreclosure happens. We now all have to go back into hiding once again. And anytime that we kept getting momentum, it seems like the government just kept throwing us back out. One of the most painful one was the last one. It was in January. The number one month of the season where everyone's motivated to come to the gym. Right. We in Ontario got asked to be closed for that month.
Sure.
So that was pretty painful. But once again in February we were back open. Now, as this is all happening, the landlord and our 3-year thing is starting to end. So I'm now going up talking to renewal, and the things going with is, hey, it's going to be double in rent. Hey, your name has to be on the lease. So if you can't make these next 3 years, I'm coming after you personally. And these are all things where you're scared out of your mind because you've done everything you could to keep this business alive. You've done everything. You followed it, everything to the book here. And there's no leniency with the landlord at all. I spent the last 9 months going back and forth, trying to come up with a deal or something that would help my community stay alive, because I also run kids programs.
Right.
So this was a haven for the kids and parents to come under one roof, come hang out. Think about the dinner talk these kids get to have. Mom, I got to see you lifted that weight, it was giant. And the
Yeah.
parents going right back at it. You hung on to that monkey bar, you got all the way across the obstacle course. That was awesome. Just imagine those conversations in the last 6 years that I've had, and the landlord not having any empathy for it. There was nothing there. It was strictly business. So with that being double in rent, it was almost suicide for the gym. So I had to think of something, and something quick. And I, as someone who's done fitness physique shows, I actually met someone in the industry who happens to have a gym just down the street.
Okay.
And we actually managed to team up, and I go, listen, I'm in a position here where I may not be able to renew my gym. And this is something I never would have thought about. Are you able to take on my clients, finish their memberships, and create Train Like Heroes within your gym? And this lovely gentleman said, absolutely. We'd love to have you.
Wow. So
Yeah.
you're running Train Like Heroes out of, we'll call them your friends'
Sure.
facility?
Yeah, absolutely. It's great. It's a gym where, it's a bunch of sublet trainers.
Okay.
Which is really cool. It's something that is so great, especially now when I keep hearing stories of multiple small businesses having to close their doors because of landlords not being lenient. It's crazy. So I was very, very fortunate to have this gentleman, offer not only just a personal trainer, but an entire community in. It's a great facility where, there's physiotherapy, there's chiropractic, there's massage therapy. The list goes on of what's to offer, and I think that's great for the clients. But yeah, there's still classes being able to be held on there. I'm walking around with my Train Like Heroes gear on. So are the clients. It's great.
So you're essentially running your community out of a new facility, but it's still Train Like Heroes. It just has a new temporary home.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what does the future of your brand look like?
Well, right now, if you actually try to look up facilities or anything for rent, you'll realize that the price is skyrocketed. And, it's almost like these landlords, it's like the same thing with gas stations. They're like, hey, you should raise your prices because I'm raising my prices. Okay, cool. And then they come back to you and they go, hey, well, the guy across the street's also raised their prices, so I'm raising mine as well. And it's like, that's not fair.
Right.
There's got to be something to do with it. And it almost sounds like, they've monopolized this, and the government's not stepping in to help the small businesses who got hit the hardest.
Right. So for now, you're just kind of working out of your friend's facility, figuring it out?
Yeah, well, the cool thing
seeing
is
where it's going?
I'm doing a lot of in-home training. I'm doing a lot of online training,
Okay.
right? These are all things that, once again, that the recreation of the wheel has set in stone, and I'm doing a lot of personal training out of it. So I myself have a lot more freedom, which I haven't had in the last 6 years.
Of course.
But the really cool thing is I'm able to be a lot more accessible to the world as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about what you think your biggest challenge, aside from the facility, has been.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge is just getting people back into the motivational state. I think this pandemic has really split or divided a lot of people, and a lot of people are still not 100% comfortable yet. So I think the biggest thing is just trying to, get the world back together and get everyone on the same page again, and just give some more love to the world. I think that's one thing that we're missing, is there's a lot of caution going around, double thinking things. And I think what my now new purpose is to kind of just bring awareness to, hey guys, we're getting back to normal. Things are going in a great direction. Let's go back to our grassroots,
Right.
and let's have fun again. I think that's the one thing that a lot of people are missing. So I want to bring that energy, and I feel like I can do that.
You definitely can. You're bringing the energy right now. So do you have a trade tip for our audience today? A piece of advice that stuck with you, a piece of advice that you'd like to give to others?
Yes, absolutely. It takes 21 days to create a habit. And I think if you stick to something for 2 weeks even, 14 days, you stick to something for 14 days, watch what happens, right? You take that one thing and you make it your number one priority for 14 days. All of a sudden, you have that on autopilot. Then you can go, hey, well, if I did that with this thing, why don't I try 14 days with this? And then all of a sudden, you can now do 2 things on autopilot, and then you go to yourself and go, maybe I can do it again. What else can I do? Oh, there's another thing right there. So yeah, stick to something for 14, 21 days. Just stick to it. It could be the hardest thing on the planet, but if you just try to just hold on for that many days, hey, you can stop on day 15 if you want to, but try and see what happens.
I absolutely love that. Now, talk to us a little bit about your brand in general. I see you've got some Train Like Heroes merch on. Are you now trying to transition your brand into a community that extends a physical location?
Absolutely. So yes, one thing that I've done for the last 6 years is created a lovely Train Like Heroes merchandise brand. I think it's great. A lot of people come to the gym and maybe some people may not have the proper attire. So I go, hey, listen, are you looking for, are you looking for shirts? Are you looking for pants? Are you looking for comfort? Maybe you're more into the, hey, I just worked out and I want to get into my comfy clothes. Well, the cool thing is that we've created a lovely brand for that. And the really cool thing is I actually brought some little treats for you today.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, so one of the really cool things here is actually I brought you one of our amazing sweaters. So this is, feel this material, by the way.
Oh, it's high performance.
Absolutely.
Sweat resistant stuff. Oh,
this is what you want to throw on when you walk into the gym, when you're home from the gym. Absolutely amazing. And you can't have it without the matching pants.
Wow.
Yes, absolutely
Same
great.
material, it looks like
Yes, feel it.
Oh,
totally.
That's lovely.
Now, maybe you want to work out in it. Maybe you want to start. Well, guess what? Your phone never is going to leave. Zip that bad boy up, you're good to go.
Fantastic.
Those are both yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure.
So do you sell this when you're at the facility now? Do you sell it online? How do people get their hands on the merch if they want to?
Reaching out to me is the easiest and quickest way to get it into your hands. If I have people wearing it all over the world already.
No way.
Yep. So I have, I have a couple clients out in British Columbia there. They're totally wearing it. I have clients. I think the furthest one is in Europe.
Wow.
Yeah, Czech Republic is the furthest one where it is right now. And the really cool thing is there also with the community that we have, a lot of the clients love to take pictures of them wearing it. So they always bring one piece of swag with them, and they just take it with them on vacation. And they're always there taking one picture, whether on a beach or on a mountaintop, and they're wearing it. So Train Like Heroes has gone everywhere.
I love that. And it's keeping the community alive, and it's extending the community.
That's
it's
right.
free advertising for you.
Totally.
If people want to find you, where do they go?
Easiest way to find me is definitely on Facebook and Instagram. You can find me Michael Carey on Facebook. You can find me as Captain Carey Fit on Instagram, or feel free to message us on Train Like Heroes on either or.
Amazing. Captain Carey, thank you for joining me today.
My pleasure, and don't forget to train hard and always train like heroes.
I love it. This has been another edition of Modern Business. I'm your host, Taylor Bursey, and we'll talk to you next time.
Call the Rogers TV Viewer Response Line. Email us or connect with us on social media.
This holiday season, fall in love with Very Merry Movies on City TV.
There's no better time to take a leap of faith